Hello and welcome again to TPM Software. Now we're going to look at the Sage import-export features in TPM. You will remember that in the tenancy setup we had in the financials the customer left a holding deposit of £800 initially, which covered his rental deposit of £800. So £800 for the rental deposit. Then he went on to pay setup fee, which included VAT, which added to the £800 means the customer had actually paid for his first periodic charge and setup fees 91750. So we're going to see the implications of that in Sage. Also, you remember in general accounts, the structure here is what should be emulated in Sage or any other accounts package. So if you're not sure about the nominal codes, there they are for you. In property accounts we had a periodic charge of £800, and in landlord accounts management fees we had an £80 net charge to the landlord for the agency management fee, which came to gross £94 including VAT. So again, I will show you how this is emulated in Sage. If we exit to the main menu, close tenants, so at the end of the month you would go into the Sage icon, click on post setup fees to the tenants accounts, which we've already done, export tenants and setup fees to Sage, which I'll just show you just now. So we just go click export tenants and setup fees, and then we file import, yes, customer records, run, and we go to the data files held in the TPM software data. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First one's the tenant, so we'll import that. There we go, Joe Brown, close. The second one is the actual audit trail transactions for Joe Brown, which will be the setup fees. So we go run, and again you can go my computer, D, data, trans. So that's the next one. They're in logical order, trans. And there's all the setup fees that was housed in TPM, going straight into Sage. So close that. Nextly, there's the periodic charge for Joe Brown, so we run that. That will be in again my computer, D drive, data, and trans 2. And there's a periodic charge for Hot Kill Place going into Sage. So if I close that down now and show you customers in Sage now, there's Joe Brown with a balance of £800. We know that his property is P1001, his phone number. I double click on that. We've got Joe Brown, his old address, the new property address, the £800 balance, and the activity for Joe Brown, which is the all important part really, because what we've done is import all the detail, sales ledger, credits and debits into Sage automatically. So that's what it would look like in Sage to any accountant or bookkeeper looking at the entries. They're all debits and credits in the correct place. So close that, and we'll now show you the actual landlord side of the books. So we'll close that, and if we minimize this, which is Sage, and this is Financial Controller, this one, it works from version Sage Accountant Plus up to Sage line 100. So if we export our landlords to Sage now from TPM. So export landlords, right, and it says now import the file landlord .csv into Sage as suppliers. So okay that. Back into Sage, file, import, close all other documents, supplier records, run. Again, it is my computer, D, data, and we've now got landlords in there now. So double click landlords, and there's Landlord Smith. Close that. Minimize, go and look at suppliers, and Landlord Smith is in there now. Go and look at his account, and all the information is there at hand, apart from any activity at the moment. Now the activity will of course be the job from Mary that we actually did on JIC1. So if we close that just now, go back into export job costing customers and invoices to Sage. Sorry, I got a step ahead of myself there. It's number 5 I do next. Obviously, I did 4. I'm going to do 5. It says apply landlord's management charges, which we've already done, and this will be shown in Sage. So if we click on number 5, as I said, apply landlord's management charges. And if you watch the screen, it will tell us which file we have to import into Sage. It's trans3 and trans4. So now if we exit our Sage control panel and go into Sage itself and import file, import, yes, and it's audit trail transaction, run, and it's my computer, D, data, and it's trans3, and there's the landlords, what the landlord would get if it was a 0 discount we were giving him. We were doing his management for nothing, but I don't think that would be the case. And of course, if we run this again and go into my computer, D, data, and trans4, so open that, and that'll be our management charge for Hawkhill. Close, close. If we go into suppliers account, activity, see our 2 charges in there, put in there nice and neatly by the import procedure in Sage. 800 was the original and 94 gross was taken off, and that's what it does. So we've got debit, credit, and we've got the management charge shown under the landlord's account in Sage. So that landlord is now due us £94. Close that. Close. Now, we close this a minute. Minimize that. So just to summarise then, when at the end of the month you run your go into Sage control panel and run all the buttons, number 1, post any setup fees to the tenant's accounts, number 2, export tenants and setup fees to Sage, apply periodic charges and export to Sage, export landlords to Sage, and apply landlord management charges. If you didn't have the job costing program, you wouldn't have to bother with 6 and 7, but we'll do 6 and 7 next. And in all occasions, TPM will tell you which file to import into Sage. So we'll exit the Sage control panel at the moment. So if we go back into Sage and have a look at customers, Joe Brown, suppliers, Smith. The company nominal codes are all there, and I'll go back to them in a minute for you. Bank and products. Nothing in products. Back to customers. Now we remember that Joe Brown, in actual fact in TPM we received £800 from him and his £400 each, which made up the £800 from him and his wife. So in Sage we would have to go to bank, customer receipt, the actual date, and Joe Brown's in there as a customer and outstanding with an outstanding balance. The date of the receipt was the 6th. The amount would be £800. The reference would be our CR number, cash book, right? Cash receipt 00001, and we would allocate the money. So we just tell it to do that automatically, and that's it done. Quite easy when you press automatic. You don't even have to think about it. Sage will do all the donkey work for you, and it's all done and balances nicely. Just save that, and that shows account now clear, I think. Go back, there you go, balance of 0, and begin to activity. You see all the activity relating to Joe, sales receipt. Now you may think that takes a lot of know-how, but all you're doing is importing what TPM has produced and actually recording a customer receipt with any customers that are with an outstanding balance in Sage. Very easy. Close that. Now we're going to look at job costing. So if we close Sage for a moment, and I'll run the job costing module in another session.